The first day of NHL's free agency was a wild trip, headed by Johnny Gaudreau choosing a Columbus offer, which I am not even sure that Columbus thought it was possible from July 12th. Not everything was so extreme, but most are at least worth discussing a couple of sentences. So let's do that. A quick thought in each offer of relative notes of the first day of free agency, starting with the last agreement of the day and working until the first. Kristians Rubins, D, Ottawa. Contract, 1 year, $750,000 AAV. The Sens needs help in its back end, and the great let you have some rise as a type of AL/NHL depth. If he is playing minutes consistent for his group, he has problems, but it is a useful type of filling when necessary. Nikita Zadorov, D, Calgary. Contract, 2 years, $3.75 million AAV. Zadorov is a giant and privileged age defender who had a fairly good season with Daryl Sutter, and those guys are not cheap. This is not exactly a bargain, but the Flames had a successful decor last year, so I can see why they would be interested in maintaining most of it. Nico Sturm, C, San Jose. Contract, 3 years, $2 million AAV. A rising tide raises all ships seems like a relevant appointment here, since Sturm is a useful depth taxpayer for the most recent Stanley Cup champion sees it to be paid. I also like SJ, since the cost is not so unreasonable, and you are sure that you are underpinning your depth in an agreement that obtains what is probably the best years of the 27 years. Ryan Strome, C, Anaheim. Contract, 5 years, $5 million AAV. Ducks have ample space in the limit, so it makes sense that they would begin to add some players that can be effective for them in the long term. Strome is a 6'1" center that scored more than 20 goals last season, and although perhaps he is not a great needle engine, he should be able to contribute reliably for at least the first years of that agreement. Riley Smith, RW, Vegas. Contract, 3 years, $5 million AAV. As Vegas moved from Max Pacioretty, it was important that they did not lose all the pieces that made them so effective for years. At 31, they are unlikely that they get more from Smith than they give in the past, but 3 years is an understandable contract to keep a guy who needed to keep on board. Hayden Fleury, D, Tampa Bay. Contract, 2 years, $762,500 AAV. Fleury's career seemed terribly promising at the beginning, but he never took off as expected. This is a good bet for both sides, since the player will put himself in a large structure to F.